Howdy, partner. What's good, everybody? It's Abwon, and this is Before You Watch. And I got another duel review for you today. At first, I wasn't going to do one, but then I thought about it, and I said, yo, this is a perfect opportunity to do another one. So it's the Hateful Eight, the Quentin Tarantino movie. We all know who he is. And versus the Magnificent Seven, Denzel's newest movie with Antoine Fuqua, the same dude that did The Equalizer, Training Day. He did some other movies too, but that's all I'm going to mention for you right now. Now, my biggest knock on Denzel right now is that I feel like every movie that he's in, every role that he plays, they're all just remixes of Training Day. And I feel the same way about Liam Neeson and Taken. So when I saw the trailer for this, I said, okay, I might watch it. Because honestly, I never saw the original. And I absolutely hate Westerns. I think the whole like Butch Cassidy and Sundance Kid thing, the saloon, it's all just corny to me. It's just really whack. But I saw the trailer and I said, okay, there's actors in this movie that I really do like. So why not? I'm going to check it out. Training Day in the Western Times seems like it could be entertaining. And then you have the Hateful Eight. And I said, you know what? A dual review for both of these movies has to be done. They're both Westerns. They both have a black male lead who's probably the only black character in the movie. Yeah, I think it is for both of them. And then they have another strong female supporting actress. So, and both of them are violent movies, I guess you can say. But honestly, that's really where the similarities end. I'm going to start with Magnificent Seven because that's the new movie. Everybody's probably seen The Hateful Eight. The Magnificent Seven, it has some pros. Has good actors in it. The environments, the backgrounds do look good. And a lot of the gunfights are pretty entertaining. However, I feel like the cons just outweigh them. The pacing is really, really, really slow. The movie is 2 hours, but I felt like I was in there for 4 hours. And I wasn't the only one that felt like that because numerous times during the movie, people were just walking out. I think somebody was snoring in there. I dozed off a couple times. It's just really, really slow. It takes too much time to get into its action scenes, and it's just too much filler. Honestly, if they would have made this movie an hour and 45 minutes, an hour and a half, it would have been top notch. It would have been a really, really good movie. But that extra half hour just dragged. It just dragged. The whole movie, you're sitting there scratching your head, wondering what's going on. And there are a lot of scenes that I just didn't know what the characters were doing. Let's talk about Chris Pratt first. This guy seems to play Star-Lord in every movie he's in. Jurassic World, Guardians of the Galaxy, Parks and Rec, whatever the hell that show's name is. This guy is the same actor and he's the same person in every role. He doesn't do anything different. He has like his little witty one-liners. He's kind of sarcastic, but not really. He's kind of charming, but not really. It's just played out to me. Like, come on, you can do a little better than that. In this movie, 90% of the time he was in this movie, I didn't even know why he was in it. I was just wondering what was going on. Some of his characters' lines, like the way he interacted with like the Native American, the Asian character, and then the Mexican, it was just like really racist. Like for one scene, when he first met the Mexican guy, he's like, oh, wow, a real Mexican. Now we can have an authentic Mexican standoff. And then he starts doing like this dance, saying Spanish like, oh, andale, andale. And I was just sitting there like, bruh, like my homegirl is Dominican and she was sitting there like, yo, this is like super racist. You know what I'm saying? And most people are probably watching it laughing like, oh, Chris Pratt, he's hilarious. But it really just wasn't funny. It was really awkward. It was just corny as hell. And it just happened way too often. He's supposed to be a magician, but there's only one scene where he actually does a magic trick. And I was just like, no. But at the end of the movie, you understand why his character's in it, and that's pretty much what it is. Other than that, and the female character in this movie, who kind of looks like Jennifer Lawrence and Bryce Dallas Howard, really had no part in this movie either, outside of being eye candy. She didn't fight in any of the battles with them. She played in the background. They were working for her. Okay, I understand that, but she really wasn't doing too much. And the dialogue, she had like none at all. She just played no part in this movie. It's just every scene she was in, she had a low cut shirt on, and they just had a whole bunch of cleavage cuts. That's just all it was. That's all. That's the only reason why she was there, pretty much. Other than that, though, the characters I felt were pretty good. I mean, the acting wasn't like Oscar worthy, but it wasn't corny either. It wasn't like a Turner Classic movie type of movie. You know what I mean? But the acting was good. The gunfights were pretty good too. Every character has like their own style. Denzel being, the main man, obviously, he could clear out a room with almost any weapon. I think he's used like every weapon in this movie, which was pretty cool. They had Vincent D'Onofrio, I think it is, the guy that plays Kingpin from Daredevil. He was like really animalistic and brutal. He used hatchets and axes and things like that. My personal favorite used knives. That's all he did, was use knives and blades. I don't think I saw him use a gun at all in the movie. He was pretty cool. So the gunfights are cool. The characters have like their own style, thing like that. The major issue I have with this movie is just the dialogue, and it's just too slow. The pacing was just really, really slow. Also, the movie is PG-13, so if you think you're gonna watch a movie, a spaghetti western, you better prepare to eat ravioli, because this movie, there's no blood. You don't see any limbs or brains getting blown apart, nothing like that. You know what I mean? It's very, very, very watered down. And I understand why they did it, because they probably figured, grown-ups that watch the original can take their grandkids or whatever to see this one. But I wouldn't even want to bring my kid to watch this garbage. I just didn't like this movie at all. But unfortunately, this is definitely going to be one of those movies where people are just going to say they like it just because it's a Denzel movie, because they can never bring themselves to say they don't like a Denzel movie. I've had people curse me out, block me on social media because I said I didn't like a particular actor's movie, Denzel being one of them. I think I said something like The Equalizer is just Jason Bourne with Denzel in it, and somebody cursed me out. So that's how serious people take actors. So, but it doesn't matter. If I don't like your movie, I don't like your movie. I don't blame Denzel for this movie being garbage. It's not his fault. You know what I mean? I didn't like The Revenant. I don't blame Leo for it. So it just is what it is. I'm going to give this movie a 5. I'm going to give this movie a 5. But now to the other side, Hateful Eight. Hateful Eight is a hateful movie because it's really, 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 really racist. Really racist. I remember when the movie first came out, there was an article, I think, in Complex Magazine about how many times the N-word is said in this movie. It was record breaking. I didn't really understand how serious it was until I watched this movie. And it was just okay, I get it. I've been called the N-word a few times in my lifetime. So I get it. Movies like that, you're going to hear it. But I just felt like it was just thrown out there with no reasoning behind it at all. And that's, at some parts I was just oh my gosh, here we go again with this word. That's all everybody says in this movie, blah, blah, blah. Aside from that, though, Hateful Eight is a masterpiece, man. The pacing, that movie is 3 hours, right? And this is, okay, the Hateful Eight is 3 hours. The Magnificent Seven is 2. But I felt like the Magnificent Seven's 2 hours were the Hateful Eight's 3 hours. That's how slow it was. Whereas the Hateful Eight, from beginning to end, that movie has got you locked in, because, not only is it a Western, it's almost like a suspense thriller. It's one of those whodunit movies. So you're trying to figure out who the culprit is. And the whole time you're watching closely for the nuances. You're paying attention to every detail. You're listening to them very carefully, because everything that they say, everything that they do could lead to the climax of the film. You know how Quentin Tarantino is. He always does flashbacks and you're like, oh wow, I didn't even notice that. And this movie is no different, because that's exactly what happens. However, I feel like the last 30 minutes of this movie could have been either cut out or cut short, because it just dragged. I just wanted to watch the ending credits. That was it, because it's all right, the villain was already unveiled. We already saw what the big plot twist was. I just want to watch the ending of the movie and get it over with, and that's that. But there's just always something happening to just drag it along and drag it along and drag it along. And I just said, all right, I'm so done with this movie now. So outside of the long ending scene and all of the racist banter, you got a pretty good movie. You got a really good movie. You know what I mean? I'm gonna give the Hateful Eight a 7. This movie is violent though, so if you're like really squeamish, this you're probably gonna want to watch Magnificent Seven. But you know that part of Magnificent Seven I didn't like because it was just so inconsistent. If they show you shooting somebody in the head and I don't even see a little squirt of blood, I'm just not satisfied, you know, because it's like, all right, can we try to be authentic here? I mean, you want to make this movie as believable as possible. We're not watching a DreamWorks picture. We're watching a Western. Like, come on now. These guys don't have bulletproof vests. And in the Hateful Eight, you know, you see people's skulls get popped. You know what I mean? You see things like that. And to me, I'm looking at it like, woo, that's intense. It just adds to the authenticity of the film. But if you're squeamish, you're not going to like it. So, like I said, I give the Hateful Eight a strong 7. I did like the film score in both movies, though. I like the film score. I think Hateful Eight's film score just gets a better score. You know what I mean? No pun intended. But I gave the Hateful Eight a 7, and I give the Magnificent Seven a 5. So, but you know, watch it. Let me know what you think of it. Hit me up on Twitter at Abwon. Subscribe, like, share my videos, all of that good stuff. I got the Afterthoughts coming with you guys. People are going to give their honest opinions. And I'll see you later. Peace. Spoiler free, 1 through 10. What you think?
I'm going to give it like...
I need you to project your voice, girl.
I'm going to give it a 5.5.
Can you speak up?
Is it too low now?
Go ahead.
I give it a 5.5. The location was beautiful, though. Sometimes breathtaking. But there's nothing that they did to make the location beautiful. So that's not a plus on them. That's a plus on the fucking location. Chris Pratt was too modern. Took me completely out of the movie because he was just being himself, like literally in Parks and Rec, just getting paid to hold the gun. And Denzel was actually pretty amazing.
I wouldn't say all that.
I thought he was great. Did he not stand out more than anybody else?
Hold on, 1 through 10?
5. Solid 5.
What's the best thing you liked about the movie?
Denzel being Denzel.
I know what the best thing I liked about the movie was.
The score is horrible. I know the best thing I liked.
Yeah. What's the worst thing you hated about the movie?
I can't go without that without being spoiler free.
Oh, all right. 1 through 10?
Spoiler free.
1 through 10?
I think I'm going to have to give it a solid 5, too.
Jesus. Y'all all gave it a 5?
Yeah.
The score was awful.
What you think about the cast, a diverse cast?
No, I'm going to break this down for you. I actually thought the score was on point. That's the only thing that was...
It was incredibly obvious every time.
Exactly. It was the only thing that, like...
That's the only thing you liked about the movie?
No, I didn't even like it. I'm just saying it, like, went with it. I'm saying, like, it went with it. That was about it.
That was a little too...
I'm going to break it down for you, though. My Lord, what the pace. You cannot wait till 107 minutes into the movie to have something happen to grab my attention. Like, you don't have my attention for the first 107 minutes. Like, no, you need to go left.
That 2 hours
was
overkill.
I can't. It was too much.
1 through 10. You ain't new to this, bro.
1 to 10. I'm gonna give it a 6.2 if I could do that.
Okay.
I wanted to give it more just because Denzel was in it. What I didn't like about the movie is, I mean, it's a Western, so anyone who understands that understands what to expect.
Yeah.
I just didn't like it overall. But what I did like about the movie, like she said, I mean, it was beautiful. I think it was well done, but I think they could have done better in terms of the dialogue, the script.
True.
Apart from that, if you like seeing Denzel on the scene, I mean, on a big screen, then that's the only reason why.
If this movie was an hour and a half, what would you think about it?
I think it would be a little bit better because it would be much tighter.
Yeah, I think so too.
An easy 40 minutes could have been cut
so
out.
Much filler.
Yeah, there really was a lot of filler. And I felt like it was kind of cheesy at times too.
A lot of filler, a lot of slow pans.
It was a little too predictable.
For no reason.
Yeah.
Too. Like, also, like, why is it like every time somebody thinks they're going to be alone, in a room, somebody creeps up behind them, and it's like, oh shit.
Yeah, with like a hatchet,
they
right?
They did that
yeah.
5 times.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, you already played that out. Like, I saw that already. Like, don't do it again. I'm done. Like, don't do it again.
So do you think,
Also, what the hell was Vincent D'Onofrio's voice?
I don't know, man. I don't know, yo.
I was really trying to figure out, and it wasn't even consistent.
Yeah, it really wasn't. It wasn't. It really wasn't. It really wasn't.
I was like, Winnie the Pooh in the house?
Yeah, word. Yeah, no. I feel the same way. And he was like a lot thinner in, I mean, granted, that's probably a suit he's in, but he was a lot thinner in Jurassic Park. Jurassic World.
Wait, they made him gain weight for Daredevil.
Yeah, because he plays Kingpin.
Down, though.
Is he tall, like, naturally?
Yeah.
Oh,
okay.
Oh, I didn't know that. I don't know. It is what it is. I feel like they really just put those actors in that movie just to sell it more, because they probably figured it's not that great, but if we have these big-name actors in it, we'll just get people in the seats. Because there's going to be people in there just because of Denzel. That's just for Denzel. Like, when I saw the trailer, I really thought I was going to be watching, like, Training Day in the Western Times, but...
It's true.
It's the same director.
Same director. Same dude that did Equalizer too.
And Shooter.
True. Ethan Hawke. Yeah, he.
Equalizer was amazing. I was.
That was a good movie.
I was happy to see Ethan Hawke in another movie though.
True. I haven't seen him since The Purge, the first one.
His acting wasn't bad. It was actually really good to see him and Denzel again.
True.
Again, they could have done much better, especially with a cast like that. With a cast that good, they could have done way better.
Can't spell Denzel without the L, bruh. And I'm out of here.